The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Haan. And now, here's Nico de Haan.
Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke. And we're on Living a Primal Lifestyle. How's everybody doing? We had a busy time last week, and we were discussing thyroid, and if you have any questions about that, you can call us at 877-927-6648. Also remind you, my newsletter, and I have an article about the thyroid in the newsletter that we were talking about last week, and I think we have a little bit more discussion to do on that, too. Remember, you can get a hold of me also at nico@tfnn.com. But pick up the newsletter. It's $10 a month. First 30 days, 2 issues are free. And then after that, it's $10 a month, and you get a lot of value for it.
It's a great newsletter.
Yeah, thank you very much. Folks, last week we were talking about the thyroid, iodine, and, the whole... there's just so much in-depth information. So we're going to be touching on this again and again as we go through it. But didn't you say you got an email?
I did, and I want to apologize, Les. I finally do actually have Paige at TFNN.com.
It's on.
It's on. So please email me. I want you to know that we'll try and address as many of your questions here, but I do work with people on a remote basis and private coaching and counseling. And
definitely. So
feel free to contact me, and we'll set something up that works for both of our schedules. But if I can I go ahead and address Les's question?
Yeah, definitely.
Les had a comment that his wife had had thyroid issues many years ago and had her thyroid removed, and as a result had been on thyroid medication, but still, was not feeling well and not sleeping. So, again, this kind of brings us back to my comment that most people that are using thyroid medication are using the synthetic form of thyroid, which is Synthroid, levothyroxine. These are some of the brand names of the thyroid medication.
And these, those aren't as good as the natural.
In my opinion, and many others, it is not. At the turn of the century, before the pharmaceutical companies were established, in the medical training of our doctors, they always used a full complement glandular thyroid supplement. And it's really quite interesting when you take a look at it. The pharmaceutical solutions are only T4. T4, as you recall from our conversation, is the storage form of it. Okay. So, as I said, women come in and say, hey, I'm on it, and the doctor says your TSH number is fine. The TSH number only reflects the storage hormone, and then that leads to the opportunity to prescribe other drugs for sleep, for depression, for
because
body
you're
aches.
Not being regulated at all, really, except in the storage area. And what's the significance of that? Why don't they address the T3 then?
Well,
because you can do it easily.
Well, I think that's something we'll address a little bit more. I actually think there's some reasons why to not help us get the active form does actually lead to the opportunity to prescribe other prescription drugs.
Okay.
Okay.
That makes,
So my point would be to work with a natural health practitioner or a medical doctor that is willing to use the natural forms, the full complement that gives you the T1, T2, T3, T4 of the thyroid hormone. The other thing is to do something like my coaching program where I'm working with you to restore metabolic and hormone function naturally. And I would be more than willing to maybe have a session or two and see if we couldn't help her with some of those things. One of the things that's involved with not sleeping, if you recall from our session last time, is that the active form of the hormone T3, the active form, is manufactured 60 to 75% of it in the liver.
Okay.
And so the liver needs 2 things to manufacture the active thyroid. It needs sugar in the form of healthy sugars, combined with, and it needs protein and healthy protein. We're going to dive in. We're going to give you a lot of really valuable information that both of us probably share primarily in our private coaching, but you guys, as tigers and tigresses, get all this information from us.
The whole thing just gels around the natural components versus the ones made in the pharmaceutical area. And, of course there's going to be a crossover there, but when large companies tend to make these things, it's for profit and not so much for health again. So, health seems to be always on the back burner, as opposed to the profit. And of course, not everybody is in that corporation will do that, but the tendency is to go down that road.
Well, we can talk about on a break whether or not you want me to actually verbalize what my philosophy is.
Well, this is our program, so we can do what we want.
I like that.
I just the thing is there are conspiracies out there. Some are intentional, some are not.
Right.
And I don't mind going down the road of the conspiracy.
Or let's just not even say conspiracy. Let's just use the word alternative thought process.
Yeah.
What if this were true?
Right.
And look, the bottom line is that what it comes down to is when we start to educate ourselves and we take the information and we say, does this make sense? If you're supplementing a storage hormone but you're inhibiting the body's ability to convert it, you're not going to get the result that you want.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And the whole thing is that we want to succeed ourselves, which means we've got to do some research. I mean, it's a complicated world because now we just can't go out and everything that we choose is right for us.
Okay, so,
So we've got to make the right choices, which means you have to educate yourself, folks. And that's what we're really trying to do. I have, over the years, really always wanted to be healthy and happy. And that's what my program is about, too.
So be glad to work one-on-one with you. Feel free to contact me, Paige at TFNN.com.
Okay. Now, I've got this article that I think it was sent to me by Nathan, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really sure. I think Green might have sent it. Anyway, it's countries have with the greatest use of high fructose corn syrup also have more diabetes.
A man-made sugar.
A man-made sugar.
Again, that's kind of where we're at, guys. When it's made by man, we're going to see a lot of problems when we go back to traditional foods.
And when we say made by man, we're just saying it's processed in some way.
Processed.
Yeah.
Handled by man and processed.
And it's from a grain again. So remember, it's corn syrup. So it's from a seed, and seeds tend to have properties in them, and especially corn, because corn now is genetically modified. It's also grown in... and I had a discussion the other day with somebody, and we were talking about, when we're tending gardens or we're making large and larger and larger areas. And I always think there's a difference between gardening and agriculture. Because agriculture, you're just doing one crop over a large field.
Which is what led to the depletion of the soil minerals.
Well, yeah, especially when you're talking about grass seeds, because they have very shallow roots, and they don't, so when there's a problem like with the weather or a drought or a flood or whatever, that soil is not supported really well. So when you use a crop like this, it's not only bad for the environment, it's also now you have to use pesticides, or you have to put the pesticides inside the product itself, so then it's passed down through the generations. And folks, we yet do not know. There hasn't been any extensive tests what altering our food is eventually going to do to our species.
We are the test tube.
We are the test tube.
This generation is the test tube of seeing what the impact of GMO foods are on us. And,
oops.
Yeah, I forgot to turn that out. So, let's be aware that maybe that's not the best choice.
Yeah. So anyway, this article actually takes different countries and different segments of population and looked for a commonality of who was using high fructose corn syrup and who wasn't. And there's many countries that don't use it at all.
Right. And, like we were saying, just to give you a rough idea, the U.S. uses like 55 pounds per person.
55 pounds per person.
55 pounds per person. Just think about that.
And somebody's got my 55 because I don't use it.
Me neither. Exactly. So. Now, as opposed to that, there were some other countries, which were primarily some European countries, that the average use is 1 pound per year. So that gives you an idea of the
scope.
The scope, of what's going on in the United States with our processed
And pretty
foods.
much in the United States, these products are mainly in just about everything that's processed, not only in the sodas. And the sodas is a big
thing. The crackers and the salad dressings. So all of you that are thinking eating salads, you go to restaurants, you have salads. Many of them are using pre-packaged salad dressings. And remember your olive oil and apple cider vinegar and some salt and pepper.
Yeah. So two studies, one in Southern California, one in England, and they found about a 20% higher rate of obesity and diabetes not obesity, but diabetes in the population when fructose was being used.
And I don't want people to get confused because as we just left that other section, I said, hey, we need a little bit of sugar to make active thyroid. We're talking about things like, as you've heard Nico talk about, the teaspoon of natural raw bee honey.
Yeah.
We're talking about there's a major difference between high fructose corn syrup and the fructose we get from from the natural fruits,
Sure.
and even from the product sucrose, I will argue.
Yes.
And that's the key point we want you to understand. It's these processed sugars, potentially the genetically modified ones, that we want to stay about. And just so you know,
well, the engineering themselves, the process that these things go through, add more chemicals to the process, and they actually ruin the molecules. They change what it is. If you're getting it from a blueberry, folks, you can have a half a dozen or a dozen blueberries before you go to bed. That's great. An orange if you want to, or an apple, whatever your choice is.
The orange is loaded with a lot of magnesium, which helps sleeping.
Yeah.
One of the reasons we recommend people having a little trouble sleeping, want to make sure that liver, the hypoglycemic session that we experience when we sleep, put a little glass of orange juice and Celtic or healthy salt. The salt and the magnesium and the healthy sugar will help with the sleeping.
So, and one way to think about this whole process of your food, I use an analogy when I talk, and one of the things is if you go into the nature, go into a wild area, deep into the woods, and start looking around and ask yourself, where is the food? Okay, and the percentage of sugars that are in that environment is about the percentage that's really nice and safe for us. We're doing really well. Same with the percentage of the meat that's out there, especially if you into an area where there's not a lot of human beings, because then you find the animals start returning. So the more animals that are out there, and the more if you
and what did the animals do? Actually, the muscle meat was almost the secondary part. It was the devouring early men and the animals of the bone and the organs, going back to the full complement of a thyroid hormone. That's the full complement. So
you really have to look at whole foods, and you have to look at unprocessed foods, and you have to look at them in the right proportion that nature would provide them for us. And that's kind of how my philosophy came. Should I be eating this? Shouldn't I be eating it? It's always nice to have something we had at our party. We had those almond flour brownies. They were fabulous.
Exactly.
Some people had one or two, which I had. I think I had two. Some people had 7 or 8. But when you think about what the right proportion is, of course, you never find a brownie out there, but probably one wouldn't hurt you, or 2. So, but you go up and up and up from there, and then the whole thing changes, doesn't it? Yeah, it's really balanced. Speaking about balance, got 20 pages. It's nicely balanced. If you open it at page 10, it feels about balanced. Yeah, that's what it is. So please pick up my newsletter, folks, because you're going to get some great information. We're talking about the thyroids in here. And this is really dedicated also to a lot of things about exercise. What makes what makes things work and what doesn't in exercise. So I think you'll find it very, very good. So pick it up. And our number here is 877-977-6648. And we will be back in just a minute.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Happy holidays from TFNN. Our most rewarding Tiger Dollar sale is back this December at TFNN. Normally, we offer only a 10 to 20% bonus on Tiger Dollar purchases, but through December 19th only, when you purchase Tiger Dollars to spend on any of our products, you get a 25% bonus on your purchase, and up to 10% of whatever you spend will be donated to the Salvation Army in your name. You'll receive a personalized thank you letter directly from our local Clearwater Salvation Army administrator in appreciation of your donation. Tiger Dollars can be used on any of our newsletters or subscriptions, never expire, and are fully transferable. Take advantage of our most rewarding Tiger Dollar sale of the year right now. Visit TFNN.com for all the details and to make your purchase today. Happy holidays from TFNN.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Wealth Management. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportions of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what an asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Wealth Management financial advisor can do for you. Call Angela O'Brien, First Vice President and Financial Planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Wealth Management, LLC. Member SIPC.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
The right X.
Okay, folks, we're back, and the number here is 877-927-6648. If you'd like to give us a buzz and remind you to pick up my Health Signals newsletter, this is how you get the information you need to stay healthy, wealthy, and wise, and so you can keep on trading. A couple of things were brought to my attention by one of our listeners, Ethan, and this is some baby products violate California's toxic materials warning law, and that environmental group says. I thought, this time of year, a lot of gifts are out there. People are buying things, so I thought I'd just mention some of these. One of these nap mats are kind of in the news. The children's factory.
Folding rest mats, right?
Yeah, Indestructible Folding Rest Mat by Lakeshore Learning. Peerless Plastics Nap Mat, Lakeshore Rainbow Rest Mat, Peerless Plastics Kinder Mat, and Safety One Microban Nap Mat. Boy, it's tongue twisters, all of these things. Some of the other things are baby mattresses and changing pads.
Well, again, it's talking about these plastics.
Yeah,
and these
are like the PCPs, right?
And we're tying the flame retardants into thyroid disruptions.
Some of them at Bed Bath & Beyond, folks, and at Walmart, and Babies R Us, at Kmart and Delta. So you really got to look at these. This came from a San Jose Mercury News. And I don't know if these products are out there here in Florida or elsewhere in the nation, but you've really got to be careful because the plastics are very unhealthy, and the younger you are, I think, the more susceptible and
these toxins that are in plastics are what we call xenoestrogens. they pretend like they're estrogen.
So
and we're going to talk more, my feelings about estrogen. Estrogen is not the feminizing hormone. Estrogen is a unisex
But is this why,
hormone.
the kids seem to be growing up faster. Some of the kids are bigger. They have certainly more muscle tone. The women, the girls, geez, their breasts seems to be developing a lot earlier.
Yeah, sometimes as early as like 10 and so forth. Yeah, I believe...
Must be driving the boys crazy at 10 years old, I'm telling you.
Well, unfortunately, as we see this categorized feminization of our females early, it's also doing the opposite to our men.
Yeah.
Our little boys are having some more, it's opposing some of their masculine traits.
Yeah.
But again, estrogen activity is detrimental to the health in both males and females. And we see a lot of this in our man-made plastics, chemicals, pesticides. These are the places that you see them. So in children's toys, that's something to think about when you're starting.
But they're in everything. I mean, everything we touch, the newspaper we have, it has the ink in it.
Your sales receipts when you use a credit card.
Sales receipts. So it's very inundated. Here I am, got printer ink all over me, I guess. But the thing is, we have to try to take toxins out of our whole environment, let's say.
And these are the things that
we... Not only the food, but the environment, the things we handle.
And that's one of the things that I think you do and I do is I try and coach people to use foods that help their bodies rid themselves of these extra estrogens and endocrine-disrupting hormones naturally with foods and other naturals.
Yeah. The other article was that caught my eye was smoking cigarettes could be making hangovers worse.
Well.
And you're always drinking and smoking together, it seems like, too. I mean,
they kind of seem to pull each other together.
Yeah, but again, we're talking about toxins because that's what's in the smoke, right, from the cigarettes. And especially in America, we've got those accelerants in the tobacco to keep it burning.
There's a lot of comments I've heard, and I'm not an expert on this, but that, really the tobacco smoking, it's the chemicals that they're adding to these cigarettes.
Are worse than the actual
processed
nicotine.
Cigarettes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you were actually someone that obtained organic tobacco, maybe it wouldn't...
I don't know whether the nicotine in that type of tobacco is actually lower, but I know several people that smoke that type of tobacco for quite a few years. And
but there would be 500 less chemicals because that's the number that I hear
so they
add.
may still be susceptible to the asthma and the things that go because you're smoking. Anything you're smoking affects your ability to respirate. But all the other poisons that are in there are not appearing. So then I know years ago people still died of cancer, but probably didn't have the big problem that they had, especially in the 70s and 80s when people were, people are smoking a lot less these days. So
I think so too. That's some good news.
Yeah, this is probably one of the, if you are smoking, probably the best thing you can do for your life right now is to make the New Year's resolution to stop.
That would be great. That's a great New Year's resolution for everyone.
If you're going to do anything, that's the biggie as far as I'm concerned. And then you can start changing your life from there. Certainly, if you're smoking and you're eating really great, one is not going to outbalance the other, folks.
But that is a good tip. If you are a smoker, maybe start exploring and doing your own research and educating yourself that maybe you'd be better off using the non-toxic cigarettes that aren't commercially made with the chemicals.
Yeah, and getting off this stuff is tough. There's no doubt about it.
That might be a good step.
Yeah, it's a drug. It's a drug, folks. 877-927-6648. Paige and Nico will be right back after the break.
Heard Tom O'Brien on the air, and you've seen him on Tiger TV as well as being featured as a regular CNBC guest and contributor, and now you can have access to his expert trading advice each morning through his daily trading newsletter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, gives traders, investors, and money managers a thorough strategy for trading stocks, options, and indices every market day. Market Insights comes out each market day before 9:30 a.m. and provides traders with Tom's daily commentary, opinion, and specific trade recommendations on the markets. Using advanced Fibonacci methods, volume indicators, Gartley patterns, candlestick charting, gaps, and market timing, Market Insights will give you specific trade recommendations including entry, stop, and exit prices. The summer is over and traders are back. Get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the program, folks. It's Nico de Haan and Paige Clarke, and we're here living the Primal Lifestyle, and the number here is 877-927-6648. And also remind you to pick up the newsletter.
Absolutely.
So
it's
what's
a great
going
newsletter.
on?
Well, I just wanted to, when you said that, we're living a primal lifestyle, maybe we're starting a new year here.
Yep, it's coming up.
I think it would be great to kind of refresh everyone's memory of kind of where you had your start, and maybe give us a little background on why you created Primal Lifestyle and what the real passions are behind the idea. And I want to preface this with everyone that our real goal here, because we both discussed this, is that let's not argue semantics totally. What we're trying to do is, there's different degrees of what you want to do, but we want to get you educated on whole foods, traditional foods, and in the right combinations, and really get people going away from the packaged, processed, boxed, and bagged foods and solutions, and chemicalizations and genetically modified foods. And
that just makes sense.
Yes.
How I got started in this whole thing, I've always been passionate. My whole thing has always been to have a happy life, kind of what's written in the Constitution, that pursuit of happiness, but also have fun, also be healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that the pursuit of happiness has to include health. And I think, that was my primary motivation for just about everything after I left college. I started a macrobiotic diet in those days. After that, I went into the 70s and started running again because I was gaining that beer belly. And, you know, I've always felt like an athlete, although, you know, for maybe 10 years there, I wasn't really doing a lot.
So you had a chance to try some different...
Yeah. Through the 70s, you know, I tried doing a little vegetarian thing. Then through the 80s, it was that 40-30-30 athletic thing. I was doing a lot of running.
The zone.
I was lifting weight, the zone type of diet, exactly. And then, of course, Atkins came in that, between that. And then I tried the Mediterranean diet.
Gee, you've been around a long time. You've been to try them all.
I know. It does show after you say your 30s, 40s, 50s. You know,
But it leans credibility.
well, it does that. There's no doubt about it. And what happened is, you know, of course I started jiu-jitsu when I was 63, and then my professor was always talking about, you know, fresh foods and how they ate in Brazil and Weston Price. And then that Christmas, I went up to see my sister, and she handed me this book called The Primal Blueprint. By Mark Sesson. And so I read that, and I goes, boy, this makes so much sense. I talked to my wife. She says she kind of got on board with me, and we went home and we cleaned our closets out. And basically, what the primal diet was all about was, and this was called paleo. It's called so many things, but again, like Paige says, that
Let's don't argue about semantics. Let's just realize
exactly what we're talking about is what things to remove that are really needed in the food. You know, but the primal whole living a primal lifestyle, I wanted to envision also having a healthy mind and having a healthy body and spirit and all that. But I do believe that a lot of it does depend on good food choices.
Absolutely.
So that's
so you can have your optimal metabolism, which is really the focus
when
of my
you
stuff.
start seeing success in how good you can feel by just the way you eat and stop taking certain medications, of course, you know, you need a guide as a doctor if you're on medications, and I don't recommend everybody to jump in with 2 feet. Some people can. A lot of people cannot, especially if you've been around the block for a long time and eating a certain weight a long time. You're on a low-fat diet for a long time. Some of those vital organs that are making these hormones and putting out messages to your brain are all confused. And when you know, you start changing, then the body's going to fight back. So there are great ways, and that's where the coaching part comes in. When I talk to my clients, I talk to them about taking baby steps. Some people I can recommend to go a little bit farther. But, you know, as long as you do it step by step, I don't see the problem. You know, you can cut out the first thing we did was we took out the grains. So no more bread, no more pastas, no more things like that. And then slowly but surely we started tweaking things. We began eating better meats. So I started sending away or trying to search where I can find the meat that's, you know, eating their own food.
Right.
Pastured. That's pretty much what they call it. It's not even organic. It's way beyond organic for me. I want the animal out in the field kind of looking for its own food.
Being happy.
And being happy and healthy, just like I want to be.
That goes into energy medicine, the memory of the cell.
Sure.
You know, not to get you off, but, you know, that's the whole point there. You want to be happy, you know, if you ingest food that's lived a very traumatic life, then maybe that memory is going to...
It just makes sense. And, you know, if you're spiritual at all, no matter if you're a Christian or a Muslim or a Jew or somebody that is an Eastern culture. In fact, they seem to be a little bit more in tune with saying, hey, what's next to me is part of me, that type of thing. You know, so your surroundings, your stresses and everything like that are very important to the health.
See, I like what you're saying, because what you're saying is, and what I feel very strongly is, please, let's not argue about semantics. Let's use our common sense.
Sure.
Let's team together and get educated and start using healthy, whole, traditional, valuable foods.
Yeah, and then you'll start to kind of be sensitive to what's really working for you, and it's different for everybody. I talk to a lot of guys at the dojo, and they're having very success, and then a couple of them are saying, hey, you know, I'm kind of stuck. But you have to dig a little deep. So that's why
you have a great
consulting.
article in your newsletter this week. The author was writing about, you know, again, the argument of a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet, and then primal and so forth. And he talked about how a lot of vegan people say, oh, but I feel so great. Well, that's because most of them were coming from a packaged, processed, heavily, you know, trans
so
fat
made
diet.
Part of the step.
Well, of course they're going to feel better. But when we look from, you know, the standpoint of nutritional soundness and getting the essential fat-soluble vitamins that are just almost nearly impossible to get in a vegetarian and even true vegan diet.
And you're going to subsist, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you're going to mainly change from eating the animal to start grains. The most toxic kind of food there actually is.
Because our government is working to create genetically modified strands like the gliadin.
Yeah, it's food that if you look, and one of the reasons I was very interested, because I was always passionate about anthropology, but I really liked the evolutionary process of it. Let's look back 20 or 30,000 years ago, and we know that our species was probably eating this way for thousands and thousands of years, and we really haven't genetically changed that much.
Right, but I want to make a point, too, because most people think paleo and primal people do not eat, fruits and vegetables. Oh, that's not true.
No,
A paleo or primal or traditional foods diet always includes phytochemical-rich fruits and vegetables. It's just in how you prepare them and when you eat them and in what quantities.
Yeah, and a lot of the food isn't quite as dense as it used to be, especially our fruits and vegetables too, because our vegetables have changed completely from wild, and now there's a bunch of them that have crossed over. Kale and something else is made cauliflower. So I mean, there's a lot of crossovers that we've changed the food. So I am for some supplementation. I think a lot of supplementation is kind of useless, but there's a good supplementations to have. And as part of my regime, one of the things is the green supplement, making sure I get those phytochemicals. Another one is maybe some omega-3 fish oil type. You don't need a lot, but I think supplementing it is a good idea, because many times, especially if you've got an active life, if you're eating out someplace, those things are missing. If you're cooking everything yourself, you probably don't need it, and that's probably the best way to go. But if you're active and you're out and about and you do have to resort to some other food that you are not making yourself, then it's a good idea to do some supplements. What other supplements would be good? Maybe vitamin D, right? Yeah,
I mean, actually what it's turning out to be, I believe, is you have to really take a look at what you need. And working with a natural health practitioner, they can do kinesiological testing, kinesiology, or advanced, if it resonates more with you, you can get lab tests. I do micronutrient testing that looks at what's in your cell, and that's very educational for people. Because what I do is I don't treat diseases, I actually educate people with the information they get.
And that's why I love what you do. And kind of that's what I try to do too, because
it's functional health education.
Yeah, well, I'm not trained as a doctor or anything like what you are, but I'm trained physically to help people as a personal trainer. But
again, the lines are blurring. I mean, I actually am a personal trainer, but I'm not actually acting that way. But it's about pulling it all together, because we are whole people. We're not just over here or there. And really, you're going to get the best result from people that are kind of trying to blur it together and know when to pull in an expert in another area. But you asked about what things to supplement. It really depends on the person, and that's why I like to see a food log. But for there's just certain nutrients, and I can use the vegan or vegetarian examples. The B12 just is not sufficient in the vegan vegetarian diet. They must supplement, and most of them are not supplementing with the right diets. Most vegan vegetarians are not getting enough quality protein that you get with the animal and the whole glandular thing that we can get from a bone broth.
I believe that firmly. Of course, I do really well on not a lot of carbs.
Right.
So I'm eating a lot of protein, maybe about 35% of my diet, 40% of my diet, and maybe half of my diet might be fat, 45, 50%, and the rest is filled in with a little bit of carbohydrates.
And everybody's a little different, and they have to use your own intuition as what's the best thing.
I didn't start out that way. I kind of just, did a little bit less and less, and funny, my wife is actually reversed. Now she's eating more greens. So, it works a little different for each of us. And because each of us have different issues, too. And,
when you talk about supplementation, that can really vary, too, based on where your food sources go. Again, in Nico's newsletter, which I love, you have a great one on the eggs. And it's kind of a joke because he knows I'm an egg freak. In fact, I have pictures on my iPhone.
Next time we'll put them on the web. But don't you have it on your Facebook page or something?
Yeah. In fact, if someone goes to my Facebook page, Paige Clarke, a couple of days ago, I posted something, pictures from Food Renegade, who is a food educator that I love, and had pictures of the different types of egg. Because a lot of people, it's all in degrees. They think, okay, I'm going to the Whole Foods or the natural food store in my area, and I'm buying the eggs that say free range. Well, the truth is, all they have to do is be able to let those chickens stick their head out for 5 minutes a day, and they can put on the label free range. So again, we've got to move in degrees of improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing is to have your own chickens. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
But
the difference when you fry them.
Or when,
Or
again, we don't
make
want
them-
to. We only want to cook the white. We don't want the yolk to get cooked,
Right.
because some statistics I'll just share with you. I want to talk
Because of the oils.
specifically.
Yeah.
Well, because again, what's in there? It's a fat-soluble nutrient. You get your vitamin A, but when you're eating a pastured egg, so we're talking about store-bought. First of all, we're talking about commercial CAFO.
Yeah.
Mass
She actually
produced.
had pictures of just a store-bought egg, and then a picture of a organic egg.
And then I had a picture
Yeah,
of
the
a
pastured.
pastured egg where, a farmer is not feeding his chickens, soy-based. Soy is not a toy.
And then I saw the other pictures of the eggs in Austria.
In Austria. Yeah, the Austria eggs were the color of a pumpkin. And actually the ones that you'll see on the Facebook page are very orange. But this morning, and I showed it to
very
Nico
cool.
on
Very cool.
I took a picture of some eggs I was cooking that I bought. Some of them I bought from one of my food co-ops, because that was my point. Start seeking out your natural co-ops. Support your local farmers. I mean, every community now, your farmers markets, go there. There's somebody that's providing their pastured eggs, and you can ask these questions. Do they forage on their own, or are you feeding them supplemental grain? Is it organic? Does it have soy in it? You don't really want soy feed. But the difference in the egg, not only in the color, but in the plumpness of the egg is just amazing. And the reason I want you to be aware
And
of
the
that,
taste is remarkably
a
different.
pastured egg will have 2/3 more vitamin A. And the argument I have with some of my vegan clients is they say, oh, well, I get lots of beta-carotene. We do not convert beta-carotene the way we do the fat-soluble version of
And that's
vitamin
really
A.
the difference between a vegan diet and our diet, is because the vegan diet is eating a lot of things that have those essential minerals in them, but they can't convert in our body to what we need.
Because we don't have the gut to do it. We were not designed. The cows and the animals, these animals
We're not
that
foragers.
Right.
We're hunters.
They convert it for us. So that's the advantage there. They have 2/3 more omega fats, in them. 3 times more vitamin E, which is amazing protective oil, and more beta-carotene as well. So I just want you to start being conscious and being aware and being authentic in where you're buying your food. Think about getting the best for you and your family, and take it to different degrees. Like you said, step by step, you start making changes.
Yeah. So, I made that step to getting that better meat and that, and all of a sudden we were eating less. And that was, I think, the most amazing part. And I also adjusted my fat intake, because I was, when you say eat healthy fats, then you say, what comparison do I have? What's not only what's a
Well, that's
healthy
almost
fat?
two-step. You had to change the fats that you were consuming,
Yes.
and then change the ratio as well.
Change the ratio too. So my fat consumption started going up, and the better I felt. That was the most amazing. And then, kind of the light bulb goes off, and you say, geez, maybe I've hit something here, because here I am, older than I've ever been before, because you never go back, but feeling better and better. And now I really feel like the best I've ever felt. I go back to that 15-year-old and 10-year-old kid. When I was 10 years old to 15 years old, the happiest times of my life. And that brought into the whole spectrum also the physical part that we need. And we'll discuss that.
You just hit on that when you said best time of your life, 10, a kid. I want to make a point about that.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to be back, folks, in just a few minutes. Please pick up my newsletter. I've got the issues sitting under all this junk here beside me, but here it is. And, it's packed full of some of the things we talked about today, but it's a real good issue if you're interested in exercise. Also some traditional food recipes in here, making lime water for your corn.
If you're an investor looking for a great weekly investment newsletter, then now is the perfect time to try out Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Every Tuesday, Ken breaks down multiple sectors in his weekly newsletter, Ultimate Growth Stocks, with a full in-depth report including specific trading recommendations within his model portfolio, charts, sector analysis, upcoming economic data, along with intra-week trading updates on newsletter positions whenever the market dictates. Right now, you can receive a full month, that's 30 days, to evaluate Ken's newsletter free of charge to see if it fits your trading plan. At less than $75 per month, Ken provides you with his expert trading advice that can pay for itself in no time. Take advantage of this great offer by signing up for a 30-day free trial to Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks today. Don't let this offer pass you by. Visit the front page of TFNN.com and sign up now.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Ken Shreve, David White, Larry Pesavento, Victor Jones, or Daryl Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
That's right, folks, and test my Health Signals newsletter. Just go up to the top of the page at TFNN.com, and you'll find newsletters and health signals. And also on livingaprimalifestyle.com, you can find newsletters. You can sign up through there also. So we were talking about, my inspiration was feeling fabulous, and my best time of my life was 10 years old, and I want that feeling.
That's when you ran out the door with your feet
and summer lasted forever. And when you fell off your bike, you were okay.
Yeah.
And and you were free. I mean,
you'd leave in the morning and just you knew you had to be home before dark to eat dinner.
Pretty much. And even after dark, we play hide and go seek and stuff like that. But yeah, that freedom is what I've been seeking ever since. Let's put it that way.
And that's funny when you said that. It just really struck a point with me. That was really my inspiration when I decided to start coaching people, because I, too, had been seeking what is the solution for energy. I believe we have an energy crisis, and that no matter what, and unfortunately that energy crisis is happening at earlier ages, and it's persisting for a longer period of time. That inspired me to go see the old doctors, and what did they do before the drug company got in the way, in my opinion.
Yeah, in my opinion, too. I think the drug companies are steering us in whatever direction they want and the education goes along with the drug companies, not so much anything more.
Right, and when you said that about being a little boy at 10, what do you think of when you think of a little kid? They've got a nice, healthy pulse rate. I mean, we're not talking about this slow pulse rate. They have a great, body temperature. Yeah. They're warm. They have nice pink cheeks because they're healthy. They're vibrant. They've got great circulation. And that's really what I do with my new program that I'm putting the finishing touches on. It's a 180-degree turnaround, a new direction for your health.
And that's so cool because that's what I do with my clients. So the new client comes in, I want them to be able to roll on the ground and feel good about that, learn how to fall, a very important thing, and also explore different things. Right now I'm deep into increasing my flexibility for the help in jiu-jitsu, and I do that by exploring deeper into yoga. Yeah. And I've always been pretty flexible for a guy, but not as flexible as a gymnast or anything like that. So I really need to work on those things. And I found, YouTube is a wonderful thing. They have a lot of people on there in yoga. And that's one of the things you can do. Instead of coming to see somebody like me, you can actually go to YouTube and get quite a bit of information out of it.
And I'm a yoga teacher. I mean, although I'm not holding classes, I was trained.
Yeah. And I've taken many, many classes, too. It's... to really get into it, then you need that expert there to add those finishing touches to it. Because
that's what we can do.
And that's what I'm trying to do, too. And I know you are, too.
Yeah. This year, let's talk about, let's start the year with, giving people some ideas about some of these other healthier ways to exercise. I mean, the Eastern arts,
but I think there's a lot to learn. But it can be simple, too. It can be as simple as adding an hour walk to your life every single day.
Absolutely.
I mean, and outside, not going on a treadmill in front of a TV, because then you're getting part of it, but not the whole experience. Outside is
stress hormones are still elevated. You're watching the news. I have people say, "Oh, I get on the treadmill and I watch the news. Oh my God, how stressful!"
Yeah, so you're adding stress to your life.
That's the whole idea, is to lower the stress hormones.
Exactly. You're adding stress to your life by watching the news, and also you're doing exercise. You exercise. We want stress of the exercise, the physical part of it, but we don't want the mental part of it.
Exactly.
We want to go out there and, I don't even play tunes when I run anymore.
Well, I will tell you that for a lot of people, when I evaluate that they've got a severe metabolic hypofunction, low metabolism, starting to do a cardio program is not on the top of my list.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be, calm walking. It may be some of the strength training that I've seen you do, which is state-of-the-art, with the equipment that you have in your office. But not to evoke the stress hormones. Very easy, you know.
And start off slow. There's nothing, I mean, you got, I look at a change as a year, so don't be fooled by the 10 days and 10 weeks you're going to do something. Folks, that's it this week. Paige, you have a nice weekend. I know I'm going to. And we're going to see you folks next week at the same time. So see you at noon on Fridays. TGIF.
Yes. Take care.
Let me tell you something, folks. I have people coming up to me saying, I just can't believe the amount of work that Steve does on his newsletter. And I says, I absolutely agree.
That is a recent clip from the Money Masters show that Tom and I do each day at TFNN. My newsletter service, Mastering Probability, is much, much more than a newsletter. Yes, it's outperformed the S&P 500 by 100% during the last 15 months. But more importantly, it's an extraordinary education, a roadmap for your success. And it's yours risk-free for the next 30 days. Just go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and then Mastering Probability, because everyone needs a success strategy. For most, it's a competitive edge, the will to win, the drive to overcome any obstacle. Whatever you call it, winners find a way. Find your way to Mastering Probability today, because your journey to extraordinary rewards is just one click away.